Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a video on two of my favorite Seikos, two of my Seiko grails. My original grail was the Seiko SBDC033 Seiko Sumo, or the Blumo, as it's also known affectionately as the Blumo. And then my ultimate grail, which was achieved last year, is the Seiko SLA047J1 MM300. It's been a little while since I've made a video, guys, but I just thought I'd do a quick fun comparison of both of these watches. This was my initial Seiko grail. I bought this watch, I believe, 6-7 years ago. So I'll just go over the specs really quickly on this watch. This is 45 millimeters in diameter, 52.5 lug to lug, and about 13.8, 13.9 thick. This watch has one of the most amazing cases on a watch I've ever seen. It's got the perfect contrast of high polish and brush, and just the shape of the case, the angles, and the brushing and polishing that just continues through each phase of the watch, each side. This is a watch that I remember talking to my twin brother about this watch, and I was just like, every time you look at it, you just notice something different. You notice something else amazing that you kind of just didn't see before, and you're like, wow, this watch definitely has a lot of wow factor. It has very, very good high polishing for a watch that's not stated as being Zaratsu polished, as is the Marine Master. This watch has a Hardlex crystal, a single inner dome Hardlex crystal. This watch has extremely large lume plots on this, which is one of my favorite things about the Sumo. It has really, really outstanding lume on this watch. And it has a 6R15 movement, which I know to some Seiko fanboys or Seiko fans who buy these watches aren't particularly thrilled with the 6R15 movements. I've heard worse about the 6R35. With that said, this watch itself and the movement has been excellent. It did run fast initially, but as of late, this thing, and when I say initially, I mean when I first bought the watch, this watch is almost running spec with my Marine Master, which I would say is probably +3, maybe +5 seconds a day. And it's just really for I guess, I don't want to say entry level, but because I would consider like the SKXs or the Seiko Turtles and Samurais, watches like that is more of a entry level prospects diver. I would call this like maybe a little bit more to the mid range, at least when I bought it anyway. Today this would probably be, you have the prospects watches that are selling for $11, $12, $15, $1,600. So that's actually considered a mid-tier Seiko watch today. But when I bought this watch, this was a little bit above the turtle because of the movement, I think, and just the design of the watch. It's such a beautiful watch. One of the reasons why I'm doing a comparison on the Sumo and my SLA047 is just to show the similarities. This watch for me was my watch that I wanted badly, because I really, I saw many videos, saw many posts on Facebook, social media, and it was a watch that held me over until I was able to purchase my SLA047J1. To me, it had Marine Master DNA without having to pay, $2 grand, $3 grand, whatever, the Marine Masters were costing. And I'm talking about the 017s, the 001s. At that time, they were probably in the $2,000 range, if I remember correctly. And it just, I don't know, it satisfied me, but it not completely. And what I mean by that is, it satisfied me, and it gave me hope, and just the desire to go higher and acquire the Grail, which is, as everybody knows, my Seiko SLA047J1. Even with owning the SLA047, it's kind of like you get the ultimate Grail, and you kind of forget about the SKXs you have. You forget about the monsters, the baby tuna, the turtle, and it's like the only thing you can think about is your Marine Master, which is, the top level Grail watch from Seiko. But as time goes on, it's not that you don't love or appreciate the Grail anymore, but you kind of look back and revisit your watches that led to that. And this was definitely, of all the watches I own, this was definitely the watch that really made me keep going and wanting and desiring the SLA047, which I acquired. But to me, this is a watch, if I guess the best way I can put it is if you can't afford a Marine Master, or you're not able to get one, and in all actuality, guys, the Seiko has came out with a newer SLA079, 077, I believe, which is a newer style watch. It's no longer the saturation diver. This is a 200 meter ISO rated diver, but it's not a saturation diver. And that's really what the new Marine Masters are, 300 meters, but they're no longer a monoblock case saturation diver watch. But again, for me, this was my first Seiko purchase. I've been gifted watches from my brother in the past. He's gifted me 2 SKXs and a Seiko Turtle. But this was my first buy, and I believe I paid around $420. I paid extra for expedient shipping and got it like from Japan within like 2 days. It was amazing. This was the pre-COVID era. So, yeah, this is definitely a phenomenal watch. And it does have the Seiko Marine Master DNA. But it's not a Marine Master, guys. So we will move on over to the ultimate watch, the ultimate Seiko diver. This is the SLA047J1. This watch has a superior movement. As stated, it's a monoblock, meaning it does not have a case back. It's a front loader. As good as the polishing is on my Sumo, this is a Zaratsu polished Dia Shield coating or hard coating case and bracelet. The polishing on this watch is just beyond good. The bezel on this watch is phenomenal. This is 44 millimeters, 50.5 lug to lug, and the thickness is 15.4, 15.5. The weight, there's another, other than the size, even though they look, when you look at both of them side by side, they look similar. The Sumo actually, the face of the Sumo actually looks bigger. These watches are, you know, have the Seiko magic. This is a much, I don't want to say much bigger, but it's 45 millimeters. It's got a much bigger face. And on the wrist, it looks like it's a lot bigger of a watch than the Marine Master. But the Marine Master is 44 millimeters. And it's lug to lug is a little bit shorter, but it's a lot thicker. And it's a lot heavier. But again, with the Seiko magic, on the wrist, it doesn't really look really a lot larger than, I guess, an SKX would on your wrist. Even though the SKX is 42 millimeters, the face of that watch is a little bit bigger. So, but this is a heavy boy. Size, this is 212 grams. Unsized, I think it was 223, 222, 23 grams. The Sumo size is about 185 to 100, maybe 187 grams. They're both pretty hefty watches. They take up good real estate on the wrist, but they wear, as we all know with the Seiko watches and the designs of the cases, the curvature of the cases, and just the way Seiko makes their watches, they are very comfortable fitting, and they blend in well with the shape of your wrist because of the designs of the cases. Like I said, this is a heavy boy. This is it's a definitely, you definitely know that you're wearing a Marine Master. That's one thing I actually love about that watch. This has the 8L35 movement, which is a superior, you know, before you get into the LX spring drive or Grand Seiko movements, it's the top of the line movement. It's a high beat movement, and the 6R15 is not. But again, this is keeping really, really good time. I know a lot of Seiko videos I've seen online, there's complaints about the 6R15 or especially the 6R35 movement. I almost bought a King Sumo a few years back from a local jeweler. And I had it in my head I was going to drive down there. I was on vacation. I was going to buy that watch. It was the King Sumo with the blue. It was the original King Sumos. One was blue and one was like a gray color. But I just seen so many negative reviews on the 6R35 movement and people saying it just didn't keep good time. But my 6R15, I've been very lucky with this watch. It did run a little fast, or kind of fast, maybe fast initially. But I've owned this watch now for quite a while, and it's kind of settled in. It's not gaining as much time as it once did. These are both running at about +3 to +5 seconds a day. So both are excellent watches. I prefer the first and second generation Sumos. I was never able to acquire a first generation Blumo. That did not have the Prospex logo. It said Scuba, automatic, I believe, and then it had the water depth rating. I know there's the Seiko Sumo fanboys who are purists, and they say the best Sumo ever, is the first generation. I can understand that, but again, the only difference between this Sumo and that Sumo is just the Prospex logo and the printing on the dial. It's with the Marine Master, this watch. I don't want to say it's controversial, but it's this watch, and I'm saying this because this is a Marine Master watch, but this was the first Marine Master watch to not have the Marine Master printing and text on the dial. And I know there was a lot of Seiko fanboys and fans when these watches first were released and came out, were very disappointed that the Marine Master text was taken off the dial. I totally get it, and I totally understand that. I really do. However, with that said, to me, never owning a Marine Master until I was able to acquire this watch, and I bought this brand new, and I got such a phenomenal deal. So in my opinion, the improvements that were made as far as the ceramic bezel, domed, I believe it's considered to be an inner domed. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but this definitely has an inner doming, anti-reflective sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel, dia shield. I don't really care. I'm just so thrilled to finally own a watch like this, of this caliber, and it doesn't bother me at all. So, but I do relate to both the Sumo fans that say, oh, you know, they took off, you know, the scuba on the dial and changed the text to the Prospects logo, which many Seiko people or fans who buy these watches do not like that. It's almost the exact same with this. They put the Prospects logo instead of the word Marine Master. But again, I'm just so thrilled to have both of these watches. So my final thoughts before I wrap this video up, I don't mean to be long-winded and go on and on. To me, the Sumo is a phenomenal watch. I love this watch. It has, if you look at both of these watches side by side, there's similarities and there's differences. Is one better than the other? Yes, the Marine Master is the ultimate grail watch, in my opinion. However, with that said, I do think that the Sumo is a phenomenal watch to own and have. And if you can't acquire the Marine Master, which I wasn't able to for many years, guys, it was a tremendous blessing. And just holding on and never giving up and continuing to want to acquire something and never. My friend on YouTube, Gethin Christian, I got to give him a shout out, because over the years he would do his videos on his SLA023, and I would say, oh, Gethin, you know, that watch is so awesome. I compliment his videos and his watches that he shares. But the one thing that Gethin would always reply to me in each video was, don't give up. Don't give up, man. You'll get it one day. And he was right. I got to give him credit, and I didn't give up. But I'm glad that there was somebody there, you know, saying don't give up on the dream, you know. So here's my video on the Seiko SBDC033 Sumo Blumo and my SLA047J1 MM300. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope all is well, and have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.